10 years ago, I woke up in so much pain I could barely function. I couldn't afford a doctor, I couldn't afford medications, so I had to take my health into my own hands. One of the first things I did was go grain-free, and that decision changed my life. I'm Kristen, this is Kristen Unpoisoned, where we take the poison out of everyday living, and today I'm sharing an insider look at what I wish I knew before I went grain-free, some things nobody else talks about, and whether 10 years into it, I still think going grain-free is worth it. I already made a video when it was my 6-year grain-free anniversary where I went into detail about how I woke up sick, and I broke down the autoimmune protocol, including going grain-free and how that really helped me out. So I'm not going to rehash all those details today. You can click the link up here to watch that video if you'd like. One thing I wish I knew before I went grain-free was don't accept food from other people. And that might sound a little bit crazy, but it's hard for other people who don't experience these same autoimmune symptoms to understand just how cross-contamination actually works and how sensitive our autoimmune bodies are to cross-contamination. So many people will come up to you and be like, oh, you know, one bite's not gonna hurt. But listen, kid, okay, a crumb, an eighth the size of your thumbnail is enough for an autoimmune cascade. So yeah, one bite's gonna hurt. One bite's gonna hurt for a really, really long time. Another thing I wish I knew before I went grain-free was to always read ingredient labels, because ingredients change, companies change their formulas, and if you're not diligent with always checking out that ingredient list, you can accidentally eat something that's gonna hurt you. Also, grain has this horrible trick of showing up in plain sight on an ingredient list, so you have to keep on top of all the secret words that mean that grain could be hiding in your food. For me, I once got gotten by vinegar because I forgot that vinegar is almost always derived from corn. So I bought this jar of pickles, which I was so excited about because I was like, oh, the ingredients are great. You know, this is clean. I haven't had pickles in so long. So over the course of like a week, maybe a week and a half, I ate this entire jar of pickles because I was loving these things, okay? And my mood was just plummeting. Like I was in the pit of despair for no reason. And then I realized the pickles contained vinegar. It might have even said white vinegar. And I could have kicked myself because I should have remembered that vinegar is corn, but there you go. Another thing I wish I knew before I went grain-free was to not hang out at movie theaters or bakeries. And while that does seem kind of common sense at this point, there's a lot of common sense stuff that you just don't realize at first. For me, the air in a movie theater was so packed with grain. You know, from the popcorn, it's just the air is saturated with popcorn in a movie theater. And I went to a movie back at the beginning, you know, when I first got sick. And I thought it was fine because I'm not eating the popcorn, you know what I mean? I'm not getting popcorn on me, it's, you know, it's fine. But by the time the movie was over, I had a rash across my face from, you know, sitting there for a couple of hours, just constantly breathing in this grain. I had no idea that I was that reactive. I don't know if I'm still that reactive. It might be safe for me to go to a movie theater now, but I've just not tested it out. And while a bakery sounds obvious, I thought that I could go to Panera Bread and get just a plain salad with no croutons or anything in it. I thought it was fine, you know? But I mean, Panera Bread, there's 0% chance that your food is not gonna have grain in it. There's gonna be cross-contamination all over the place, but for some reason, way back in the beginning, that just did not compute. I also wish I knew that I should have been checking ingredients on anything that touched my mouth, my lips, or my skin, not just the ingredients on food. You gotta look at ingredients in your cosmetics, in your toothpastes, your mouthwash, your shampoo and conditioner, all personal care, and random things like starch that you use on clothing that's normally created from corn. And things like glue and glue sticks, any kind of adhesives, you might react to those as well, so just be careful. And you have to be careful about anything that you lick, like envelopes, which that's a thing that got me so dumb, but I didn't know. But it's worth it. I know everything I just said probably sounded pretty terrible if you haven't gone grain-free yet, but it's worth it. It's worth being diligent. It is worth sticking to it because once you get grain out of your life, you're gonna feel a lot better. And what is better than not being in pain? there were a lot of unexpected negative things that came along with going grain-free that I wish I had been warned about, at least warned about the possibility that these things could happen. So, the first thing that surprised me that was unexpected about going grain-free is you will offend people. If you live in a place where food is a big part of the culture, people are going to be offended that you suddenly have changed the way that you eat. Some people are going to think you're being hoity-toity. Some people are going to think you're too good for them anymore. You know, people might be offended that they can't cook for you anymore because it's impossible for them not to cross-contaminate in their kitchen. And they might be offended that you bring your own food to eat at potlucks, at barbecues, at any other, gatherings. But you just gotta stick to it. This is your health. And the people that matter are gonna eventually realize that. Another unexpected thing that nobody talks about, or I didn't hear anyway, is that people are gonna think you're crazy. They're gonna think you're crazy because they seem to think that what you eat has absolutely no effect on your body, which is, how can you possibly think that logically? Everything that you eat matters so much. I mean, it's going in your body. But anyway, yeah, people are going to think you're crazy. They might think you have some kind of an eating disorder or, some, maybe mental instability going on or something, because they themselves, I guess, can't fathom what's going on. It seems like a lot of people just can't fathom not eating certain foods. So they're going to think you're crazy because they are not in the mindset of being able to do it themselves. But a lot of them will change their mind once they see you getting healthy. Another thing that I wish I'd realized before I went grain-free was that you probably won't be able to eat at restaurants. The cross-contamination risk at most restaurants is just way too high. If someone is cooking regular pasta and they stir it with a spoon and they take that spoon and they stick it in your pasta, which is grain-free, and stir it around, that is enough contamination to cause an autoimmune reaction in you. Most kitchens just are not set up to work that way and be able to keep you safe. And I think it's also going to depend on how far you are in your healing journey, because right at the beginning, of course, your body's going to be way more reactive to things. And later on, when you've healed up more, it will probably be easier to go to a restaurant and not have to worry. Now, I don't know about you and your body, but mine is very reactive to little things, it seems like. So I have not eaten in a restaurant in a really long time. I've gone to restaurants and ordered a pot of tea or something like that and been fine. But the cross-contamination risk for actual food in a restaurant is too much for me, but I have heard of other people where they've been okay. So it's going to depend on you. Now, I was able to do some research online and I found a few places in the United States where you can eat grain-free and it should be safe. One of those places is Sapiens Paleo Kitchen, which is in Scottsdale, Arizona. Another one is Just Be Kitchen in Denver, Colorado, and Boulder, Colorado. There's also Dick's Primal Kitchen, which is in Portland, Oregon. And I also found a bakery in Santa Monica, California called Sweet Laurel Bakery. If you can't make it to any of these restaurants, then I also know of a few paleo meal services that are grain-free, clean, and delicious. I love, love, love paleo on the go. I do have a referral link that will get you $25 off your first order, I believe it is, but I will have that linked in the description below and probably in the pinned comment as well. You can look, I'll have it there for you somewhere. And the other two meal services that I know about but have not used yet are Urban AIP and Pete's Real Food. Those are all three grain-free paleo meal delivery services. Delicious food, chef created. You just order them online and they come to your door frozen. Those were the biggest unexpected things that I wish that I knew about before I went grain-free. But yes, it is worth it. It does sound kind of horrible, I guess, if you haven't gone grain-free yet and you're hearing all this that I've just said. But I mean, people are allowed to be offended. They're allowed to think you're crazy. You just accept that, The people that matter the most, the people that truly love you, they'll adjust. It might take some time, but they'll adjust. And I've given you so many delicious options of food places that I didn't know about before I went grain-free, so those should help out a lot too. In my 6 years grain-free video, I mostly talked about the autoimmune protocol, but how I eat now falls into a few different categories. One of those, of course, is the autoimmune protocol with reintroductions. I have reintroduced eggs, seeds, nuts, cacao, clean chocolate. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. I've been able to reintroduce a few things, which is great. Nobody needs to be strict AIP for very long. The second category I fall into is paleo. I'm 100% paleo, so I'm completely within that realm. And then, of course, I'm also grain-free. Though I'm not 100% on the no grain, no pain diet that Dr. Peter Osborne has in his book, I eat a few things that are not allowed in the second phase, the challenge phase. Things like cacao, I eat cacao and clean chocolate. I also use the sweeteners maple syrup, honey, and coconut sugar. And I drink organic tea. You're not meant to stay in the challenge phase of the no grain, no pain diet forever, but I just wanted to specify that I'm not 100% within that diet because I do eat these other things as well. And another thing is I've had delayed hypersensitivity testing, which has shown different foods that I need to stay away from because I have sensitivity to them. I react to them. So it's just random stuff like lemons, figs, turkey, lobster, and a few other things are on my list of do not eat. And yeah, when you first think about it, it does seem a bit restrictive, but it's worth it because you feel better, you feel good, and what is better than that? Even though I've been doing this for 10 years, I've been grain-free for 10 years, I've been on this healing journey for 10 years, I still struggle with things, and right now, specifically with two things. And the first one is food. That might be surprising that I would be struggling with food, but it's a reality. Meal planning is hard and time-consuming, and right now I really want to be getting 100 grams of protein and 25 grams of fiber a day and working that into the foods and the planning and it's a lot. It's a lot. And also, I do still find it somewhat irritating that so many social interactions involve food. I just wish that everything didn't revolve around food. And I get why it does. It's just most cultures just revolve around food. That's just humans. That's what we do. But I just wish it didn't. It can just make you feel really excluded. Yeah, I can and will bring my own food, but I don't know. It's just something I struggle with. I wish it was different. But honestly, the biggest reason I struggle with food is because of money. Food is expensive, especially good food. It's a big struggle right now. I was let go from my job quite a while ago, and I've been looking actively, but the job market is not good right now, and there are so many other unemployed people out there looking for work. So money is a big issue. And beyond food, the other thing that I still struggle with is stress. Again, I've been unemployed for a really long time, and that's my biggest stressor right now because there's no guaranteed end. There's no guarantee I'm going to get hired by anybody in the near future. So it's a huge stressor, and it makes it sometimes hard to get good, deep sleep. It makes it hard to concentrate on things sometimes. And I need better coping mechanisms, better mechanisms to cope with stress so that I can not be stressed out and continue healing, For now, as always, I'm focused on good food, exercise, red light therapy, and lots of prayer. And I'm also experimenting with aromatherapy for nervous system regulation. So I'll let you know how all that goes. But let me know what your coping mechanisms are for stress. I would love to know what you do to really calm and reset your nervous system. Being grain-free, remaining grain-free, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's one of the best things in the world. Removing all grain from my life in every form has really given my body the space to heal. So even though there are some very inconvenient aspects of going grain-free that you have to deal with, it's worth it. It really is worth it. Why? Because you heal. You give your body the space that it needs. My life without grain is pain-free. I'm healthy. I am healing. The difference is night and day. So if you're just starting your grain-free journey and you're feeling a little discouraged, let me know. I'd love to be your cheerleader. And if you're thinking about starting your grain-free journey and have not yet, don't be discouraged. Going grain-free is definitely a good idea, and you should at least try it. Let me know in the comments what your struggles are when it comes to going grain-free, and I'll do my best to help you out. Keep living an unpoisoned life, and I'll see you next time. Cut.